eventually. And since I retired, the book's been a great thing.
So this book, you said, it's fiction, and yet, of course, it's going to draw from your own experience. And
Yes.
yeah.
I listened to it clicked. It clicked one day. I was listening to a podcast with Stephen King, and that he had mentioned that he had had good writing, and that he had the luxury to have some painful experiences in life. And it clicked in my head. I thought, wow, that's a really interesting thing to say on a podcast. And then he said, some of my best writing came from reflecting back on a painful experience. And I said, boy, I've had some painful experiences. I need to reflect and write that in a journal. And that's the seed of the book. And yes, when you have good writing, you take an experience, a silhouette of an experience, then you fictionalize it and anonymize it, and you take the structure and you repurpose it into your story. And at the core of the book, the close of the second act, it's an experience that I had that taught me a lot, and I had to share it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I imagined that inspiration came from the different things that you experienced. And yet, not everyone's a writer, Joseph. How did you, kind of hone that craft?
I will tell you that I had the luxury of being born with a learning disability called dyslexia, which, if you know anything about dyslexia, I had some struggle in grade school learning to read and spell. I was lucky to have the right mother that got me to a tutor and made me go to the library when I was 10 or 11 years old and forced me to read before I eat dinner. It worked me through it. The flip side of dyslexia is that it gives you a wild imagination, and it also forces you to be a little bit of a photographic thinker. That's how you get past dyslexia. So then you have these experiences, you have sort of a semi-photographic memory, and it makes for some great writing. I think people without dyslexia have to really try to tell a story and write. And I think people with dyslexia, they just show up and the story just goes onto the page, and it's usually very colorful and magical. That probably is what I'd like to explain how my writing came about, is the dyslexia. If you look at a guy like Elon